Hi, have you ever been asked to put a target operating model together? Have you ever wondered whether they are worth doing or the benefits of them? It's often a term used, but often without a clear explanation of why it's beneficial or whether it's even needed. Imagine that a major transformational programme has gone live. Everyone has an understanding of the reason for the changes and why they were so important. They understand how they've been impacted in advance and have prepared for it. This could be in terms of improved automated processes to make their life easier, or additional training and knowledge of a new system or role, for example. The key thing is that the events that needed to happen and a plan to achieve it were identified and communicated clearly. Alternatively, have you ever been in a situation where a project was delivered successfully, but the users didn't adapt to the new system? The old way of doing things is still being carried out, or people are pulling in different directions and not sure what should be happening. There could be disappointment that the benefits expected didn't happen, or maybe the benefits never did stack up. The costs when taking into account the costs of implementing the changes. These are the types of scenarios that can happen when no target operating model has been planned. There has been no clear vision on what needs to happen to make the changes or the transition plan to get there. This is what would have been documented and communicated in a target operating model. I'll now give you an example of when I was involved with the design and implementation of a target operating model. I was at this company who had already employed one of the big four consultancies to do it for them. And the rationale was they've got experience of what other similar companies do, the industry, and they know best practice. Therefore, they also know how many people should be involved for each of the teams and departments. Not all of the senior team were aware of the outcome of the study, and I had been asked to do a separate exercise. The finance director, who knew about it, explained I didn't need to do it because the answer was 14. She had got one of the big four consultancies involved and explained it can't be more than 14 because if it is, then it blows the business case out of the water and takes away the reason for doing the big transformation change. So she therefore said it was very important it wasn't more than 14 extra people because of all the costs and benefits had been planned on that basis. I did 8,000 steps in one day walking around the office, talking to every department head to go through what processes would be required, the process changes moving to the new target operating model, how many more staff they needed, how it impacted them. And at the end of it, the answer I got was 30. So I had to go back to the finance director to get her to educate me on why the answer was 14. We went through and compared what I had captured and compared with the other study. Two really good things came out of all this. One was that I found two processes that hadn't been picked up in the previous study. We were therefore able to conclude and agree that the answer should be 16 because additional people were needed because those processes hadn't been previously considered. But then we still had the problem that the expectation of the department heads was that they still needed far more extra people. So what happened was the finance director was able to talk to all of the people individually who thought they needed more of their staff to do it. And they were then able to jointly agree how many more people they would actually need. So it was a good exercise because it found new processes that justified why they needed the extra people, but also importantly, it got everyone on the same page. So the other department heads understood how many people were needed to be done for those processes, and it got everyone to agree. I was able to present a summary of it all, and everybody then understood the changes needed to implement the target operating model. To implement a target operating model, it is essential that everyone impacted is brought in. The really important thing about your design and implementation of a target operating model is the communication part and making sure everyone else is brought on board rather than it just being a document handed over at the end that maybe people don't even understand. The trouble is there aren't many articles on the subject target operating models when you look online. Some of the ways I've already helped can be found in my book, The Business Analysis Handbook. You can find this book in all major booksellers such as Amazon. My online magazine, businessbullet.co.uk, contains over 100 articles on business change, and it does include articles about writing a good target operating model. One of these articles has the top ranking on Google for this search criteria. I'll also be letting you know about the online course I've put together that can also help you, and I will explain more in future videos. You need to know the right questions to ask, getting access to the right people, and following a particular sequence. I'd love to hear your thoughts or any questions you have relating to the points in this video.